Hello my friends, I'm Lucas and you are watching coldemonspl How to Paint series. This is the second part about the tracks. Today we are preparing tracks for Tiger 1 in a matte finish. It will be perfect for any stand where you want to present wet, dark earth, regardless of geographic location and season. Of course it will look best in autumn and winter dioramas. If someone hasn't watched the first part, please click the link above to check it out. First we unfold the foil so as not to get our workbench dirty. I use black foil for parcel packing. In addition you will need a model degreaser, gloves and a brush. Okay, now that's a start. As for the blackening tracks liquid, today I will use a Wilder product. I have very little left and I think this amount will be perfect to prepare both tracks. So, first of all you need to thoroughly clean both pieces of dirt and grease. All that is done to make the next work easy and nice, and we can use a brush or an old toothbrush. Just test both solutions. You can also pour a little liquid into a vessel and dip the tracks into it. A jar with a lid would be the best for this because the liquid evaporates very fast and we will limit it significantly. To be sure, we can dry both pieces with a hairdryer. Now it's time for proper blackening. My liquid is already quite old and this is why I decided to use it. But it's still operational and does the job. As you can see, the tracks change color. Everything is going exactly as it should. Now you can see the advantage of using the foil. The paper would be soaked a long time ago and cause even more mess on the table. So this solution is highly recommended. Needless to say, the entire process on this side of tracks takes several minutes. Fast and effective like a hydrogen bomb. On the other side, it's worth paying attention to all depressions. Certainly more time will be spent here for exact filling, but it can be completely ignored because it will be covered with mud anyway. On the other hand, it's worth doing everything carefully because you never know if it won't be seen later by any chance. For fullness I left the liquid here a little longer, it carefully penetrates all nooks and crannies. Okay, now it's time to dry. First with paper towels, drying the liquid as much as possible. We will definitely use a few towels for this. When the tracks are relatively dry, we can start using a hairdryer. Of course you can also do it without a dryer, but this will extend the work time by hours. And so in a minute we have parts ready for further work. After checking the effects, we can proceed the next stage of work, and it will be the application of light dust on the whole tracks. For this, of course, I will use the same paint that was in the airbrush when painting the hull of the tiger. Here is a small comparison. Approximately the same amount of paint was applied with a brush and then on the other piece with an airbrush. You can clearly see which one is more effective and faster. We all know that time is money today, both in real life and when working on a model. It must be said that this paint is not suitable for standard painting but only for weathering. It's easy to wipe off the edge as shown here. Keep this in mind when applying it so as not to be surprised. This of course doesn't mean bad about its quality, quite the contrary. I believe that it works well. Everything looks perfect and it's exactly what I wanted. We also applied the same paint on the inner side. Even if everything will be polished with a pencil anyway, it must be done. And now we are starting to play with heavy dark mud. For this I will use a ready-made product from AK. I put it in the spaces between the tracks. Rub the excess with a gloved finger, thanks to which the edges remain clean all the time. It will take a while, so it's worth getting something to drink. Of course you can also do it more brutally and apply the mud all over it and then wipe the edges off, but I think the former method is better. It's a good idea to apply the mud in different amounts to create a more random look. Equally, clogging up all the nooks and crannies won't look good in this case. Once it got a bit dry and it's done quite quickly, I found that I polished the edges. The most important thing is to remove the sanding residues, which will definitely be on the previously made mud. In the case of metal tracks the matter is very simple. All you need is a piece of sandpaper and we can prepare all the edges in just a few moments. Immediately after polishing I took an old brush to clean the spaces between the links from any remnants. You can see exactly how much of it is on the paper, so it's worth doing. Just after that I started making some wet mud. It's very simple, a little wet effect is enough. Mine is also old and that's why it's so thick. A bit of even darker mud and a bit of thinner and we have a ready product. We put it in the middle because in these places the moisture accumulates the most. Track edges should be drier. But bearing in mind that the model would be in a muddy road, I tried to balance the amount of wet and dry mud. Wipe off the excess with a paper towel and it's ready. Now we turn over the tracks and we'll apply a bit of other colors to the individual links. I note in advance that I know that this will disappear under the next layers of effects, but I'm doing it to let you know that this tip can be used on all types of tracks. We apply small amounts to random links and thus build color differentiation. Of course it will be more visible on tracks which will only be dusty and above all with fewer wheels. Before we start making polished wheel marks on the inside of the trucks, it's worth checking where they will be. Now all you need is a pencil and a silicone tip to finally polish the graphite. As you can see, all the effects have disappeared under this layer, but that's not a problem. It's done, so I have nothing to accuse. And that's really all you can do with these trucks. Well, maybe a little more splashes of mud here and there, but this can always be added if we find that it will be useful for the final look. Now you have to prepare the wheels and the hull so that everything is unified with each other, but more about that in next episode. That's it for today. I hope you will find this next video about truck useful and there is something to copy during working on your model. It will be great to see your comment. Please click thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. In the future you will definitely see more videos with practical tips and interesting solutions. So check out my other movies. Cheers!